Well, it's a move that brings together two of my loves, PR and communications, which is a love and passion of mine. I've seen this industry as a fascinating space that drives digital economy that relies on technology and also innovations that support financial inclusion for everyone. So it's just so hard for me to ignore, for better or worse. I believe in PR and communications by honesty. I would say the effective communicator, especially in WadzPay, needs to be focused on product development. What is the problem in the market, and let the product and quality and experience talk for themselves. It is going to be different if you are a communicator in the industry where you are creating a new thing. The communication strategy will be extra challenging because we need to make the audience understand about what problem that we are trying to solve. And the skill that helps me to be an effective communicator will be no rocket science, but understanding the industry and also knowing what the audience wants to hear is also part of the skill. First things first is coffee for me, and then I check what is in the news globally. It's a must. Anything that we can react to trending in the payment space, and also then checking my emails. Some days we'll have endless calls meeting, and some days I will pitch up to journalists about what kind of story that we're trying to sell. I think that will be all. Mostly business media outlets that covers Asia and world updates. I would call it my most top priority media outlets will be Channel News Asia, CNBC, CNN, and also blockchain focused publication, and also everything on Twitter. I just follow everything. As a communicator, of course, increasing share of voice of the brand and also my CEO is something that we need to do as a priority. We scored couples media footprint wins organically, but in what's pay, honestly, in my opinion, we are just getting started. Next for us is currently to deliver great results and maintain our long relationship. PR has always been a long game and requires adequate runway, as the best results come from working in partners over the long term. If we can maintain this relationship with our all stakeholders, we will continue to be precisely where we want to be. I think transparency, clarity, and using the right channel. We can create a fantastic internal communication structure, but if it's not transparent and clear enough, I think everything will go out of the window. As a technology company, I hope the communications team will develop some skill set where every strategy created based on data driven with the right message, right channels, and equipped by effective communications measurement tools. There's some method called stakeholders mapping, and what we do in the communications team is to identify our followers, audience communication style, what content they are talking about, and which channel they are using. So conclusion, this is easier for us to know how to communicate the same message differently and hope for a great result at the same time. Trust is a long process to earn. It's a long time. In my perspective, our own media has helped boost the trust. Our own content in newsroom has been helping to educate the audience. We gathered experts insight from different perspectives and different companies. We also invite various industry players to contribute in our newsroom. We create micro and macro narrative to be discussed there. Some audience wants to hear what we have done. in the market, but what we have not done is also adding value for audience. So I think here is more about like what content and which channels. Oftentimes in PR, we pitch the story what we want to share, but not what audience wants to hear. The power of content over here is very critical. So I did couples of journalist follow up and also, just creating casual conversation with them. It is one of the important and also integral part of PR person to always update, to know what makes them write our story. So building relationship with journalists personally is one of the way, but when it comes to measurement, if we fail, the observation is also comes from a very different angle, such as industry trend and also political situation that probably audience may be fatigued to reading up our story. So it should come from a very different angle. If we call it did not perform well, but that is something, like journalists follow up and building a good relationship with journalists is one of the best way for you to know and measure the PR campaign successful.